Armageddon is near. Haiku's the legend you fear. Start telling your peers as soon as I step on the mic. Them rappers you idolize off out of the rear. Letting you hear titanium flow some more in the week than you sell in a year. Smiling down from the heavens is clear. My style makes all of the veterans cheer. You fellas is queer. I'm stuck in the past. It's new shit. Y'all bumping this trash. But now you moving is crumbling fast. As long as we hitting you coming in last. The motherfuckers that you won't test twice. Sitting on top like headlights. Where y'all sit in the same spot. Still waiting for green to come like red lights. Get ready to taste defeat. We way too strong. You can't retreat. Y'all need to take a seat. Every single you drop is a wasted beat. I bring the heat. You amateur rappers ain't nowhere near my category. You better get out of my path to glory before you end up in a tragic story. You bastards boy me, so do me a favor and throw in a white towel right now. Cause unlike 50, y'all ain't finna make it through 9 rounds. You gotta be out of your mind, clown. Haiku is the lyrical warlord. When the game is over, y'all can just sit there and stare at the scoreboard. Recently, since I said that I really don't want to, like when I tell people I'm not really trying to pursue anything with it on a grand scale, they ask why I'm saying that I'm not gonna do it anymore. I used to be part of a group called Rip Squad. Everyone's always asking, you know, what happened to them.
Yeah, what's up with the Rip Squad?
Well, out of the 5 of us, including our producer Diesel, so there's me, D Beast, Hoodie Boy, 5'3", and Diesel, our producer. So out of the 5 of us, Diesel got a kid, so that kind of X'd him out. He still makes beats for the most part. 5'3" he enlisted in the Army, went to Kuwait, was gone for a while, came back, did music with us for a little bit, then went to Afghanistan. So that kind of crossed him out. D Beast went to Chicago for art school, and he would come every now and then, you know, this weekend, this holiday weekend or whatever, but, you know, most of his time went to seeing family and stuff, so that was more where his time went. So he still, like, writes music and stuff, but by the time he gets down here, there's really not much time for him to record stuff. And then Hoodie Boy, he's got 1 kid and 1 on the way, so he's just really tied up with family too. So, you know, I still love them. They're still my brothers, but as far as trying to make music, it just got too difficult.
Okay.
Where do you get your name from?
Haiku actually started as it was actually supposed to be an insult from a girl that I was dating at the time, and the way that I talk, especially to females, is kind of a roundabout. Like, I don't really get to the point, and I use a lot of analogies and metaphors and just regularly talking. So when I'm trying to explain how I feel about something, it's usually not like I dislike something or I like something. It's usually I usually have a roundabout way of talking about it, and out of frustration, she would just keep saying that I talked in haikus. So that's where that came from. And I just turned it into. That was actually before I started writing, you know, and rapping and all that. So I just took, you know, when it was time to come up with a name to embody that person, that personality, then that's kind of what I went with.
That's dope.
How long have you been on the scene?
On the scene, I want to say Rip Squad, we did our first show probably about 6 months to a year after we actually officially got together and started making music together, which would have been 2005. So our first show was actually at the Main Ingredient, and then we did a couple shows on the Loop, and then just kind of tagged along with other people who are doing it.
Where you performing in the Loop?
The Red Sea mostly, and then right outside of it, Blueberry Hill, and Pageant once.
Okay. I got a question. I heard about the Legend of Lyricists movement. Can you tell us more about that?
The Legion is the Legion of Lyricists basically started the very, very baby sperm count stage of it was being online. There was a hip hop group, and there was about 200,000 members in the group, and I was one of the most active ones in the group. So they eventually made me an administrator of the group, and it turned into, instead of just being talking about current hip hop, like mainstream hip hop, then it kind of turned into, once I became an administrator, everybody was, hey, can you share this link with all the members and do this and that, and it was a bunch of independent artists just hitting me up like, please share my music with everybody, and at the time Facebook had their group settings as such that once you reached a certain amount of people, you couldn't message all of them because it'd be too much.
Right.
So I would just I would say, well, let's work on this, and like I would actually listen to all these people, and it'd be like 10 a day from all around the world. Wow. And so I would actually listen to them, and then as I was sifting through the ones that I really liked, and I was trying to collaborate with certain people, and so that's kind of where it birthed from, was basically just trying to create one umbrella for everybody that I felt had the skill level, not necessarily to make songs, but just lyricism specifically, because a lot of the guys that I was associating with at that time were really into text battling. Was a really big thing at that moment. So there were text battle leagues. This was while technology was still kind of creeping.
I heard about that phone.
Yeah. So before everyone had a camera phone and all that stuff, like. And before the internet really connected the world together like that, then it was kind of when Facebook first started getting going. Everyone was text battling and stuff. So it wasn't necessarily people who could make good songs at the time, but it was just like you could just read the text and be like, man, his penmanship skill is there. So
mixtapes too, right?
Yeah, that translated into finding the people that could make the good music.
Yeah, Image Knows was talking about that. The mixtapes and all that.
Yeah. Image Knows is somebody that I met in person though. Like there's a couple guys that are here in St. Louis that I've met personally, and Image Knows specifically was one of the guys where I got to see perform live at an open mic. And after he got done, I grabbed him. I said, "Man, that was spectacular!" Like I
like his music.
I hear I can hear in your music the amount of effort that you put into writing it. So, and as a fellow artist, sometimes I was getting to a point where I was like, man, doing these live shows, coming from text battling and all that stuff, where your writing is really appreciated because everyone can see it and analyze it. Mm-hmm. To actually performing live, like it goes over people's heads a lot. And so me and him talked about, don't stop, because there are people like me who have an ear for it that, to the average person, you got 3-4 syllable rhyme schemes and double entendres and all that unique stuff in your writing that you feel goes over people's heads a lot, but just keep doing it though, because someone is hearing it.
Yeah. Have y'all do you all put on any shows or showcases?
As the Legion, not yet. We're actually working on one hopefully next year, because our big thing that we try to do every year is go to South by Southwest, and Tough Poe got us on that, so shout out to him. He brought myself, Stogie, the Domino Effect, and a couple other artists from St. Louis.
Why do you wear masks?
The mask, this original mask right here, everyone's used to seeing me behind that mask. That actually, one of the groups that I met through the Legion of Lyricists is Metropolitics, really dope hip-hop group from St. Louis. Shout out to them. I've been rocking with them for about 1.5 years now, and so met them actually through the Lyricists, Legion of Lyricists, as a referral to Caliber for graphic work. And then he was like, well, I make music too. And so in making the music, one day they had a show coming up, so I linked up with him and was getting tickets for his show. And one of the other guys in the group, Gonzo, was like, man, he needs to wear that anonymous mask because, with the hair, it'll be a good look. So it took me a couple shows to kind of get a feel for it, because I never really hyped for anyone. It's like I really rely on having the microphone in my hands and doing all the work with that. Mm-hmm. So not being able to have facial expressions or even lip sync with other artists as they're performing and just exclusively body movement, it took me a couple of shows to get that right, but I do it now, and it's a lot of fun. I dare say it's more fun than actually rapping and performing. It's fun, and it was really rejuvenating too, because that kind of came on the tail end of me, considering not performing anymore. So, but I really enjoyed doing that with them, And then from there, once I got that mask on, then I just did different things, because it kind of personified itself. It manifested its own separate character. So it's just something that just took hold on its own.
That's cool.
Yeah.
What do you think has been the most successful point in your career?
It depends. It depends on what I measure that by. The most successful, as far as like me having the best time, has been, I couldn't say one specifically because it's happened a lot of times, but just any show that I can go to that just functions as close to perfect as possible, as far as, the amount of people that are there fan wise, and then the amount of people that are there performing wise that network and get together, and it's just a good time. No drama, nothing like that. So that to me is a successful night as far as performing and stuff like that. I've done birthday parties, and that's, to me, that's successful because that's doing something personal for somebody instead of going to a show for myself trying to promote something or something like that. That's me going to help somebody enjoy their day. So I like that.
I have a question.
What's up?
What's your I guess your critically acclaimed mixtape or album? Did you think it's your best?
The best one is probably, most people are gonna say, my opinion or what people tell me.
Both. I know sometimes that's kind of.
Yeah, it's a little different.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say, not counting the Legion tapes because I'm only sprinkled in there every now and then. There's so many people involved with that. So as far as like, I don't have my own solo Haiku mixtape or anything like that at this time. It's something I'm kind of sort of halfway working on, to the point where it's like, if I don't finish it, then I won't feel bad about it, but I really do want to do it. But as far as like Rip Squad music, what people tell me, we did the Warzone project was something that I was trying to start with Diesel, who was he really wanted to be a powerhouse producer in the mainstream. Like, he wanted to go all the way with it. And that's kind of how I really got started. But as far as doing that project, like, the goal was to, instead of him, reaching out to artists and, hey, listen to my beats and stuff like that, it was like, let's build you a catalog of complete songs, and we'll work with a bunch of artists around the city that'll help show off your variety. So if I'm working with this artist, then we'll do that kind of song, and we'll do that kind of song with that kind of artist and stuff like that. So the first one was local, neighborhood local. Everyone that I could grab within arm's reach, everyone that I that lived near me, that all my guys. And so, we mixed that up and did a good job. And then by the time we did the second one, that's the one where Averb was on that one. I'm starting to get them mixed up now because I got them all shuffled in my head. But the Averb was on that one. And a couple of the local artists were on that one. So people liked that one because Warzone 1 was so good. And then there was just so much improvement in the 2 years from doing that one. And, the quality of his beats and everything like that. So I think that's most people's favorite one. My favorite one is going to be the third one that we just did most recently last year.
What was the name of it?
That was Warzone 3.
Warzone 3. Okay.
That one had T-Double on it, Hitman Holla on it, Joker on it. And then that one was one where I got outside of St. Louis. I got outside of Missouri. I was, overseas and stuff by that time, working with a lot of artists. So that's my personal favorite one.
So what's next for you?
Next,
the mixtape, right?
What should be done right now that's not, unfortunately, is what I'm doing is I'm taking all the war zones, taking the best ones from that, and then kind of reintroducing that whole project as one project. Because I've been doing this for 10 years, and by the time we did the first one to the time we just did this third one, like, the fan base has increased exponentially. So I want to reintroduce some of those, because the first one had Preach and a couple other artists that people need to know that I mess with these guys for real. So So I want to reintroduce some of those projects. Bates from Heart Asylum, like I definitely want to get that stuff back out there, because I know I have new fans now that didn't hear that stuff and they need to hear that stuff. So I kind of want to remaster that, put that out. That could be done any day. Like, I could get a phone call right now and get told that that's done. And then as far as like actual solo work, honestly, and this is gonna be an exclusive for y'all. Like I haven't even talked to my Rip Squad comrades about it, but we started off working on a project with Crisis, who is another great artist in St. Louis. He was working on us with a project called Rip Squad Unlimited, and basically our reputation has always been, hard body tracks. I wouldn't call them crunk, but they're definitely 3-6 Mafia inspired, based on the production and then based off of our lyrics. Like, when we perform these songs, it was time to get rowdy. So that's kind of been our reputation. Like that's what our name has brought to the table everywhere we go. And so what we wanted to do with this project was really step outside of that box. Like obviously still have one of the songs that we've been performing off of that project has been Body Bags, which by the name of the title you can tell, how that song would sound. So we definitely have tracks like that, but at the same time we wanted to step outside of that and just definitely get creative with, and DB specifically has always just wanted to do different things, and he didn't want to get tied into. I always joke about him because he always wants to do like love songs and stuff like that. And I'm like, your name is DB, so it just doesn't work. But he's so good at it that it works. So we wanted to do that, but because of where everybody's at now, and personal situations and stuff, I've kind of been turning that into a solo project, but just still taking everything that we've done as a team and incorporate it into that. One, out of laziness, because you as an artist, y'all know that coming up with 2-3 verses per song is work. So as many times as I can get away with just having to only put on a verse and then have my guys come in and fill in the gap, then so we'll do that. But that's kind of that. Rip Squad Unlimited has kind of turned into a solo project of sorts, that's entirely produced by Crisis. So another producer that I work with closely is Enigma J, and I've got a lot of projects with him that I had started on. So I kind of want to combine those two into my own project. And so I had working on the title on it. Still, like I said, if it's something that I don't even do, then if I turn my back on it, then I won't feel too bad about it. But I at least want to finish everything that got started before I hang it up.
Oh, okay. So you say you've been here 10 years in St. Louis. Why do you think St. Louis underground artists don't make it out of St. Louis? I'm not saying you won't. I'm just saying, why do you think that happens?
I think that your average artist feels like they have to win this city over before they try to take on a new territory. Like they feel like their hometown, and that's not even just St. Louis. Like I've been to different cities, and I think this is kind of the main aspiring artist mind frame. Like my city has to back me before I can try to go somewhere else. My thing with that is, say for example, if I go to Japan, don't nobody know me, and they don't know if St. Louis backs me or not. Not encouraging fabricating, your background, but I'm not just gonna introduce myself, hey, I'm Haiku, and nobody in my hometown knows me. They're gonna automatically assume that until you give them an impression otherwise. So when I go to Indianapolis, I go there a lot because there's a lot of Legion guys in there. Shout out to Skeeter Menace, Trees, and Winston DeVille. I'll be shouting out all day. So every time I go up there and we stumble across new faces, and when we say we're from St. Louis, that's so much love automatically. So I don't have to say who knows me or not, because they don't know Preach is hot here, and all these other artists that I can name, and unless I'm talking about like Averb, Hitman Holla, T-Dubbo, some names like that, then people in Indianapolis not going to know who I'm talking about if I'm naming people who you all know from being here. So, they don't really care about all that. They just, you rap, let me hear it. Is it good? No? Okay.
Like
so
the girl who got signed to Kendrick Lamar, you heard about her?
Who's that?
R&B singer, SZA. I don't know how to even pronounce it, but she got signed to TDE, Kendrick's label, and she's from St. Louis.
She from here? Oh, that's dope. No, I didn't know.
Nobody, right? So that's proof right there. Like she's I don't think she has a big fan base here, but
yeah,
I don't know anybody who knows her personally.
Right. See, and that's going back to people getting stuck in a mind frame of, you gotta dominate this city before you move elsewhere. Like, I know people that refuse to do shows here. Like, if they're not doing a show out of town, they're not doing it, or unless it's, a major act or something like that had to be extremely beneficial. So, I still do shows here because I like mingling with people that I'm going to be able to after the show, shake hands with, and then turn around and go to their show, and all that stuff. But I definitely like doing shows out of town. But
Where do you see yourself 10 years from now?
Done. I won't be doing this no more. Most likely, honestly, if Crisis, that's like my that's my ace, man. If he's trying to pursue it to the point of getting Grammys and all that stuff, like he wants to do it. So anything that I can do that's helping him get there. Hopefully, 10 years from now, I'll be sitting at the award show, watching him, doing his acceptance speech. And then also, I'm really putting, the other 20% into helping the Legion out, the Legion brand. So we're 2 years in, as far as, coming up with the name and making everything official. We're 2 years out of that. So 10 years later, I want that to be a household name and like an official brand. Like as soon as you see the logo, then you know that whatever artist is associated with that is top notch. No question.
Where can we find you on social media? Set up Twitters and everything.
I've been on Twitter for like 6 months. I finally caved. But I'm on there at Haiku_RS, stands for Rip Squad. All of us had that suffix on there. I've been on Reverb like 3 months. So reverbnation.com/Haiku Unsung. Just started my Facebook fan page like 6 months ago. 3 months really. Facebook.com/Haiku Unsung. But really, I really want to direct everybody's attention to the Legion of Lyricists website. It's at lolinyourface.com. And that's when you go to the members section of that page, you'll find me, you'll find Rip Squad as a whole, you'll find all of us individually, you'll find Metropolitics, you'll find Crisis, you'll find Diesel, you'll find a bunch of super producers, you'll find a bunch of super DJs, graphic artists, and this is around the world, man. Shout out to my guys in Africa, shout out to our guys in Europe, Canada. That's like, just please go to that website. These guys work hard.
I'm signing up on there. If you know anybody who needs interviews, anything, let them know. You know what I'm saying? Who are in St. Louis, obviously.
Right.
But
sure.
Yeah, we're gonna definitely share this around the world, man. And do they upload videos and stuff too?
The YouTube channel. If you go to Legion of Lyricists Reverb, which is /LOL in your face, everything is LOL in your face, except for the YouTube. Everybody go to www.lolinyourface.com, and that main hub will share all of our mixtapes that we've done so far, featuring music from guys from all across the world. You can get, you'll have a hub to all their personal social media sites.
So you can interact with them too?
Interact with these guys individually, interact with us as a whole. Keep an eye out for, we definitely share our artists' personal music. Bodine just put out a mixtape. Bloodmouth just put out a mixtape with Kev Adventures, and then we just put out the Legion of Lyricists Volume 7, which features music from these guys from all around the world. The Cypher at the end, I killed it, and and a bunch of other guys. It's just me personally. I've been involved with so many networks that are, this artist, this group, that artist, this group, and then come together and let's try to work. I have not been part of a group that's functioned like this, because the main goal of it as we recruit is based off talent, versus some of these other networks was basically like, one was literally everybody in this neighborhood. That's a network. So that didn't work, because, there was, some people didn't have the experience at the time. Some people didn't have the sound quality at the time, stuff like that. Then I've been in one that was, basically who's got the biggest buzz. We need people in this group who's going to be able to get that, and that was just a power collapse. Like everybody, like there was supposed to be one CEO over all of it, and then everybody in their own separate faction had their own CEO within it. Everybody wanted to be the king, and it collapsed shortly. Like we didn't get to do anything officially. It never even got off the ground. So this right here, like I said, we're 2 years in. We've had clashing opinions about certain things, but it's a brotherhood, man. So everybody argues at the dinner table every now and then, but we're a family, and it works well. I'm proud of all those guys. Shout out to all of y'all.
Shout out Mic Check for us, bro.
Shout out Mic Check one time, man, and thank you for the exclusive interview. I've actually never done anything like this at all. If you go through my whole discography of music, like, nothing is personal at all. You can listen to all 100 songs that I've ever been on, and you won't know a damn thing about me. So I definitely appreciate y'all for letting me talk your ears off and get part of my story out, man. That's another thing that I kind of want to do in this solo project, is kind of get a little bit of my story out. But at the same time, like, I'm known for destroying tracks with tactical lyricism expertise. So I'm definitely still going to focus on that, but I still kind of want to get a little bit of the story out.
Has anybody told you like Chris Brown?
I get that, man. I get that all day. I get Lloyd, Prince,
and Michael Jackson, all in one.
Joakim Noah. That's my family telling me that all day. Somebody just on Black Friday told me I look like Young Ro. I get that all the time. I'm like, man, I'm older than that dude. He look like me.
Well, thank you, man. We appreciate it.
Right on, man.